Welcome back, Ensigns. Hope you're all doing well now that we've covered the basic of torpedo target acquisition and firing. Today's topic will be on torpedo spread. What are your options? Which should you use and why? First though, I want to talk about friendly fire. It is an ever-present danger when firing your torpedoes. Here are some basics to avoid it though. Like we covered last week, know the range of your torpedoes. Now for the big key, never fire from behind your team. Check your mini-map. If you got teammates in front of you from your 9 to 3 o'clock position, it's best not to fire. When you get more seasoned, you'll know when you can take more risky shots, but for now, keep it safe and simple and your teammates will thank you. If you haven't figured it out already, you have two options when it comes to torpedo spread in a destroyer or cruiser. The default option is a wide spread. The second option, gained by hitting the F3 key, is a narrow spread. You can see the difference in the lead indicator when one or the other is chosen. Before we go any further, I'm going to make a quick recommendation. If you're using a gaming mouse that has one or two extra buttons that aren't being utilized, I highly recommend binding the spread selection key to one and the main gun to another. If you're using WASD to navigate, having a binded key on your mouse prevents you from having to let go of the steering to punch F3. It's small, but I find it convenient to quickly switch back and forth on my mouse. So about that spread, what's the difference? It's actually pretty simple at face value. With a wide spread, your torpedoes will follow the path your indicator has provided you with. They will slowly fan out from the moment they are launched. With a narrow spread, the torpedoes will be launched with a tight grouping, following each other in unison until impact. Here are the paths of both spreads simplified. In the first graphic, you see that from launch the torpedoes are close, but as they get closer to the target, they start to fan out more. With the narrow spread, you can see that the torpedoes remain in a tight formation similar to when they were launched. So now you know what the two spreads do, you're probably wondering which one you should use. I'm telling you, as an ensign, stick with the narrow spread for the time being, especially with US destroyers. Here's why. The maximum range on a US destroyer's torpedoes, especially on the lower tiers, is going to be between 4.5 and 6.5 kilometers. This means that you have to be within a stone's throw to launch them and even hope to hit your target. At this range, you're close as it is, so there's no point to select a wide spread and risk 1, 2, or all of your torpedoes missing. Maximize your damage. See this example of a round I had a while back. I was pushed into a bad spot by friendly torpedoes. As the enemy battleship closed in, I used a wide spread. Wrong. You can see here I missed 2 of my shots. If I had used a narrow spread at this range, all my torpedoes would have hit. I still survived, but only through luck. Now see this clip of a carrier I was chasing. Watch as I launch 2 salvos of narrow spread torpedoes. They all travel the same path, and bam! All of them find home. This would not have happened if I used a wide spread. This rule of thumb goes for IJN destroyers as well. Your torpedoes in the low tiers start with a 6 or 7 kilometer range. You have even more reason to use a narrow spread though. This is because of your detectability. You can fire on enemy ships without them even seeing you. This means that if you find an enemy ship happily making a beeline to a target, unaware you're there, all you need to do is fire your narrow spread and run. He won't see you, and by the time he knows the torps are incoming, it's too late. From that far out, if you had used a wide spread, several might have missed as they continue to fan out. So there you have it, Ensigns. For the time being, stick with narrow spread. You'll soon figure out when it's time to make some tactics of your own and to switch it up. Destroyers and cruisers armed with torpedoes are fun, and nothing is more exhilarating in the game than watching a full salvo of torps slam home. Stay tuned for the next episode of Help an Ensign. Zoup out.